Good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Messages. Again, this is a great opportunity once again to get started with the end in mind. And that being said, certainly we want to discuss that we have 2 weeks until the break for Thanksgiving. And so therefore it's critically important that we begin to speed towards success. And I mean towards success meaning that you know exactly where you are with your lesson plans and modules. And making sure that we're adhering to exactly following what's embedded in those lesson plans and those modules. Certainly want to talk about real quick will be the frequency of your lesson plans and how often that they are being updated. Certainly as we're making our way around the building and we're looking outside classroom doors, some of the things that we're noticing is that the lesson plans are out of date, or if it has a current timestamp, we go in, but the lesson is not matching exactly what it is that you said that you're going to be doing for that day or for that matter that week. And so certainly you want to make sure that you're adhering to making sure and ensuring that your lesson plans and your modules are certainly up to date. Also, we think about RTI in these next 2 weeks, and certainly with progress reports coming fairly quickly, we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence in respect to making sure that RTI is being followed through when we look at Tier 2 and Tier 3 activities. I know Ms. Gallimore is pushing out a lot of information to each and every one of you about what good Tier 2 and Tier 3 instruction looks like. And if you're having some problems really kind of negotiating what to do when you have students that are falling behind and not doing well, then certainly Ms. Gallimore and also Ms. Blair, not to mention administration, of course, are here to help you and get you through those tough, if you will, challenges and obstacles to making sure that your students, of course, needs are being met. Speaking to RTI, before we break for Christmas, and I know that seems an eternity away, but it's going to be here quicker than you know. Certainly, we're going to be making sure when we sit down as an admin team with all teachers who have failures in the core, that you have adhered to the RTI process. If you have failed a student and you have not documented through RTI your help, your Tier 2, your Tier 3 interventions, then the reality is that student hasn't failed, that you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to try to meet that student's needs. And it is what it is. The reality is that RTI is not something, again, that Pinson Valley or Jefferson County just came up with. This is something that's state mandated, meaning that you have to follow protocols before you just begin to fail students. Now, we understand if students are not coming to school. We have some students that have an absorbent amount of absences, and you just document that. We got that. But I'm talking about the student who's coming to school every single day, who's in your class, and the student is failing, and we've done no interventions whatsoever. That, my friend, is unacceptable. We have to provide interventions for our students, and we have to document what it is that we're doing, and if, in fact, we're having success. If we're not having success, then we need to reach out to the aforementioned, Ms. Gallimore, Ms. Blair, or myself, or the other two administrators, so we can sit down with you and try to get a plan of action together for your students. And also make sure the parents have been contacted in respect to that the student is not doing well. Believe it or not, parents can't help. And we ask that they are apprised of where their students are, not just through documentation with the report card, but through your lovely voices. Thank you. Moving fast forward, in terms of observations, we are quickly moving forward. We are going into your classrooms and we're doing observations on the what to look for, if you will, when we start looking at really 3 simple things. We're looking at learning targets, we're looking at student engagement, we're looking at formative assessment. We've shifted as well, and we're looking at the ELIOT, which is a part of the SACS accreditation instrument that is utilized from the state, and we're also observing in a more formal way that way and providing quality feedback. Certainly you want to make sure that, again, your lessons are robust. We want to make sure that when we start designing our lessons, that it's not just what the lesson looks like or what it feels like. A quality lesson is how the lesson actually works. And then not only are we planning for quality instruction, that we're providing certainly great pedagogy so students are engaged in the lesson. And then, of course, we're adjusting, because certainly all the lessons that we come up and we formulate in our minds, that we know in our minds that it's going to work. And if it doesn't work in the way that we feel like it should upon delivery, then we need to be flexible enough to diversify ourselves to adjust to the actual presentation or quality of the lesson itself. And what I mean that is that as we're delivering the lesson and we feel like we have enough rigor, we may need to ramp that rigor up, or we need to maybe scale it down and scaffold it, then ramp it back up. But we have to be able to provide the quality of lesson, the rigor and the quality of lesson, so the students are being challenged. Oftentimes, again, we go into classrooms and it's set and get. We're just throwing and spooning information down the students' throats without giving them an opportunity for that productive struggle, without giving them that opportunity to collaborate and research and inquire and all the things that we know that are encompassed in great quality instruction. So I ask that as we grapple with that we help our students in that manner. And it goes back to, folks, I go back to, you've got to plan for quality instruction. There's just no way of getting around it. Also, Educate Alabama, we ask that everybody selected two indicators for your PLP. I'll get it out here in a second. And you did. Problem is that we haven't went in there and we haven't filled or completed the PLP in the respective indicators, and so therefore nobody can sign off. This is something that was due on last month. So certainly we want to make sure that during our planning period that it is used for that, and that we actually get into Educate Alabama and complete your Educate Alabama PLP indicators by today. I'm going to go through at the end of the day and look through every one. And if you have not completed it, then you and I can have a conversation during your planning period on tomorrow and discuss to me why you haven't been able to do something that's been required for over a month in the rear. This should have been done. Folks, I go back to you inspect what you expect. And the reality is, if we're not getting it done as a professional, but then from the hypocritical side, we demand, we want 100% from our students. You get where I'm going. Do what it is you're expected to do. Bell-to-bell instruction. Folks, teachers should not be on their cell phones unless we're doing something that's embedded into that lesson. Too many times, not only are students on their cell phones, teachers are on their cell phones. And again, I'm not threatening anybody, but I do make notes. And I'm making notes. And you see it when I come in your classroom that student is on cell phone, teacher is on cell phone. And at the end of the day, when we get to May, there are not going to be any surprises. I promise you there will be no surprises. The reality is you've been hired to do a job, and either we're doing the job or we're not doing the job. I'm not interested in excuses. And we talk about student absenteeism. This year alone, we've had more teacher absenteeism than my previous 3 years based on Chronos. That's the information I'm going on, the data, that we've had more teachers out this year than my previous 3 years. Folks, if you know better, you do better. I'm challenging you to come to school, work your fannies off in an effort to make sure that we're meeting the needs of these kids. That's the only way we're going to improve. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing great quality instruction when we come by your classes this week. Have a blessed day. And remember, here at Pinson Valley, we're going to promote achievement, respect, and success.